Hi there, it's Stephanie, and I wanted to share with you 3 PowerPoint tips that I've found useful when you're working with multiple PowerPoint files and sharing those files with other people. So the first one is keep source formatting, and that basically deals with sharing slides between files. So here's a file, obviously you can see on the screen. I have another one, and let me just pull that up. You can see this looks quite different. It's a records management course. Its design is quite different, but I do want to copy slide number 6 from this file into the other file. So from the thumbnail view, I'm just going to right click and choose copy to copy the slide, and then pop back over to this file, and I'm just going to go Control V to paste it in. And when I do that, you can see that it doesn't look the way it did originally, and that's because it's picking up on the theme of this current file. And that's a default in PowerPoint. But when you paste a slide in, it also comes out with this little control box, and if you press the down arrow, you can see that paste options appear. The first is the default of using the destination theme. The second, though, is keep source formatting. So if I click on keep source formatting, it brings over the master template from the source file and incorporates that into this file, and therefore it can retain the formatting. So that's tip number 1, and I found that quite useful. Tip number 2 is using the recent files option in PowerPoint. So under the file menu, there's an option called recent, and what this will do obviously is list all the files that you've opened recently, as well as all the folders that you've recently gone to. So this generally works really well, and but the more files that you're working with and the more places that you're kind of opening or traveling to, the longer these lists are and the more that they change as well. But let's just say that the Managing Government Records file is something that I know that I'm going to be using actively over the next few days. And because of that, what I might want to do is press the push pin. And that's going to keep that at the top of the recent presentation lists, and it's going to keep it anchored there until I unanchor it or just click it again to take it off that list. So when I push pin it on the list, it's going to stay there, and I can do that with other files as well. So even if I go ahead and I open up 50 files over the course of the next couple of days, these 2 files will always appear at the top of the recent presentation list. So that's kind of handy. At the bottom, there's also an option called Quickly Access. Basically, this means that it's going to put a list of recent presentations in this gray left-hand side, and that just makes for easier access, and I'll show you how it works. If I just turn it on, by default it's turned off. So if I turn it on, it's going to list 4 recent presentations. The first 2 are the 2 that are push-pinned in. They'll always appear at the top of the list, and then whatever else follows in the order that you last opened them up. And there they are on the left-hand side. So from this menu where we are right now, it doesn't look very helpful. So let's just pop out of here. Let's go over to some other menus in PowerPoint and then return to the File menu. And when we do, you can see that even without going into the recent option, I can see my 4 recently opened files. So just saving me a mouse click by doing that. And then the final tip is embedding fonts, which a lot of people probably already know about. Here's a slide in this presentation that is using a non-standard font. Basically, it doesn't come with the Windows operating system. It's a font that I've purchased, and I'm using it, and I want to share this file with somebody else, but that person doesn't have the font. They haven't bought it. So what you can do, you don't want a font substitution to occur because it's going to mess with your design. You actually want this font to travel with the file. So to do that, just go to your File menu, and then under the Options, and then under Save, there at the very bottom there's an option called Embed Fonts in File. If you check that, the font will travel with the file. You can limit the size that takes by saying only use the characters that are used in the file. So instead of embedding the entire font character set, you can just say only the characters I've used or the entire set. So hopefully you found those 3 tips helpful.